A lot of people don't want to see it.
What are we going to jail for tonight?
I was scared that he was going to shoot my dad.
I love police officers.
Empty your pocket. What are you stealing?
When we first saw you, we were scared of you.
We choose to educate people.
Take personal responsibility. We erase racism.
Reach out and love people.
Uplift others.
Accept everyone.
Love who you are. They can teach their children.
I just want everybody to be seen equally.
Don't mess with my people.
What can I do?
Take a deeper look inside.
We are hopeful people, light the darkness.
If you haven't been to our channel yet, make sure to like, subscribe, go check out some of the other videos. We do a bunch of fun stuff.
So today, we thought that it would be appropriate to spend some time talking a little bit more about everything that's been going on in the world, everything from George Floyd's death to everything that's transpired after that, and it's affecting all of us in different ways and at different levels. And we felt like it'd be important for us to just kind of have a conversation about our experience and what we feel and what we believe.
We need to talk about it because we have quite a unique experience with our biracial and black children. We've had quite a few experiences that have shaped how they function in society. And I see people saying it's not that big of a deal. And if I didn't personally witness it with my husband and with my children, and the things that people say to me, I would also think, oh my gosh, the world is good, the world is great. Why is everyone so worried about it? So a few things happen here and there, but it's way more than we even want to see. A lot of people don't want to see it. We have a few experiences we want to share it to kind of help you see that it's more than just, oh my gosh, that person was mean to me. That's not the depth of it. I'm grateful that the conversation has opened up.
The situation with George Floyd, it basically shined a brighter light on issues that have been going on for centuries. Even in today, with it being as modern as it is, we're in 2020, that these things still happen today. It's not about a few people who had a bad experience that are overplaying it. And I think sometimes we want to cast aside those things and not bring them up.
Yeah.
And so it's important. We're going to bring up these things because you know us, but we do want you to know, hey, this is our experience. This is the way things have happened. We're all about spreading sunshine. Part of that, and a deeper meaning of that, is sharing understanding, spreading love, spreading compassion. It's not about turning a blind eye to real issues in society like we have right now, but it's about when you see inequalities, what can I do to help change that and to help spread more joy and happiness rather than misunderstanding, insensitivity. By bringing these things up and by having conversations about them, it doesn't mean that we feel like everybody is innately racist or everybody is out to get us. It's just to share stories so that people can say, this actually happened to people that I know, and you understand that this happens. So.
I think it's important to check ourselves. I've witnessed people not viewing everyone equally and with love and with the same love from black people and from white people. So I think we all need to check ourselves. How are we looking at people? How do we truly see them? I remember when we first started dating, I had all kinds of comments from people. I had comments that, oh, you're one of those people who date black guys. I had someone tell me, who was very close to me, say, Rachel, you're not that kind of girl that dates a black guy. The type of girls that date black guys are the ones that don't wear a bra and wear spaghetti straps. You're not that type of girl, so I wouldn't go down that way.
What?
Oh yeah. These are people that are very close to me who said these things to me. Someone told me that they couldn't date me because I was the type that dated black guys, so that was now my stamp on me. And when really I dated black guys, white guys, Latin guys, I dated a guy from Jerusalem. You know what I mean?
Jerusalem, wow.
You never dated
What?
never dated a nation?
A Haitian?
Asian?
An Asian? I did actually, from Japan. Yeah.
Japan.
That's the thing. We need to check ourselves. So I remember whenever Abe and I were young, we were going to go play tennis. He lived in a neighborhood with a white family, and there's this little white girl on the sidewalk, and he knew her really well. She'd been over to the house to play with the other kids with the family he lived with. And he was driving, so he's driving, I'm in the passenger seat, and the little girl's on the sidewalk here. Abe like leaned over and waved, "Hey, how you doing?" He knew her name, everything. She waved back, she's smiling, she's laughing. Then Abe continued to drive, and I asked her, "Hey, where are the tennis courts?" And she was telling us, "Oh, they're right up there." And then I made the joke with her, "We're gonna beat you, you better hurry." So we're like riding fast, and she was laughing, we're laughing, then we waved goodbye and we went on. So the whole interaction lasted maybe 45 seconds. Just a quick little, "Oh, they're up there to the right," and then went on. We got to the tennis courts, we were playing for about, I don't know how long, like 15 minutes or something.
Short time.
And yeah, a short time. And then all of a sudden the police cars came. And they wanted to talk to Abe. I had no idea. I was like, "Why are they talking to Abe?" I went up to us, I said, "What's going on?" They said, "Well, someone called the police because he was talking to a little girl." So on one hand, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Somebody's looking out for a little girl on the side of the street in case there's a bad guy, sure. I have two questions. My first question was, well, would they have done that if a white guy was talking to her? Maybe, maybe not, right? So I'm not trying to jump to any conclusions. Maybe, maybe not. But let me clarify. He was not really talking to her. I was. So I went to the police and I said, he wasn't even talking to her. We know her, but I said, I'm the one that was talking to her. I'm the one that was asking the directions. I'm the one that was making the jokes with her. It was me. I was the one hanging my head out the window. Don't you want to talk to me? And the police very firmly told me to get out of the way. They only wanted to talk to Abe, the black man. That was very eye-opening to me. I'm like, but I'm the one that was like, supposedly the scary one, right? Talking. But the little girl didn't report it, just someone else witnessed it.
So we were driving on the way back home from a football game. There's like a whole construction site, and they're telling us to take a detour. And we were kind of confused on the directions he was telling us, because he would point one way, then point the other way. So we just like pulled over up to the side. My dad was driving.
He directed traffic. I went where he thought he was telling me to go. He got angry, and so he got his boss involved. His boss came over, asked me what my malfunction was. I started laughing because it reminded me of Smokey and the Bandit. It's like, this is like a line out of a movie, you know? It's like, "What is your malfunction, sir?" And so anyway, I was like, "What?" I'm like, "What do you mean by that?" He's like, "You're over here, you're reckless driving." I'm like, "I wasn't reckless driving. I pulled up, I went where he told me to go, and then when it seemed like he was yelling, I stopped to find out what was going on." He goes, "Well, I'll tell you what, we can take you to jail tonight." And I was like, "You're gonna take me to jail?"
It escalated it like
It
that.
escalated
with
that
your
quickly.
children in the
and
car.
I was like, "You're gonna take me to jail?" I go, "Oh, really? I would like to see that. What are we going to jail for tonight? What exactly did I do?" He's like, "Well, I'll get you for reckless driving." And I was like, "Well," I go, "Okay, why don't you do it, and then I'll have my lawyer call you, and then we'll see how it turns out." And ultimately, they came back. They wanted me to sign a ticket. I did not sign the ticket, but I said, "But I will see you in court." And guess who didn't show up to court? Yeah, those people.
The police officers.
But it was a dangerous situation. It could have escalated. They could have got me out of the car. We've seen these
Right.
things happen all
Right.
the time. So
And you hadn't done anything
And I
wrong.
hadn't
You
done
weren't
one
speeding
thing wrong.
past
I was
anyone.
not
You just kind of
speeding.
pulled
I
over
was
like,
not
"I'm
doing anything."
confused." Jackson, how did you feel when your father's pulled over and you saw that cop yelling at him for no reason? Because I remember you came home like distraught.
I was scared that he was gonna shoot my dad, and I was just praying, like, please don't let this escalate. And ever since then, every time I see a cop when I'm running, I just get scared. And I'm just scared of every cop that I see. It's not that I hate cops, I'm just scared that he might think I'm doing something wrong.
You might have an experience where you're like, "Yeah, a police officer was mean to me." I mean, I've had a police officer that was mean to me. But did they threaten to take you to jail over pulling over in the wrong spot, like because you were confused?
Yeah.
Probably not. And how many times has this happened? That you've been pulled
Over and over again. I have many relatives and friends who are police officers. I love police officers.
We do.
I'm grateful to them.
We do.
And I've actually had several situations where I've had really great interactions with police officers.
Right. So it's
But
not all
I will
police
tell
officers
you
by any means.
that I have been pulled over numerous times just because I looked suspicious, right? And we know they call it driving while black, whatever you want to call it. I had a Lincoln Town Car that I would drive. Rachel's grandma had given it to me. In the first 7 months I lived in Michigan, I got pulled over 8 times. One of those, I think I was speeding, but every other time I was doing nothing wrong. I was not breaking any
All
laws.
7 other times.
I just
Yeah.
looked suspicious. I was with my boss. We were driving and I saw a police officer pull behind me and I said, I'm gonna get pulled over. This guy just pulled behind me. He's like, no, you're not. Are you doing anything wrong? What speed are you going? And he saw that I was not going over the speed limit. I got pulled over. I said, watch, he's gonna ask me for my driver's license and registration. I gave it to him. And I said, now he'll come back and he'll tell me it's okay for me to go. He came back, he gave me my driver's license and registration back and said it's okay for me to go. Now I'm sorry, these are not coincidences. I just looked suspicious.
You were just black.
Right? I was black. These are things that happen on a regular basis to people all over the country.
Well, what about that one time, remember when you were in the store?
One time I was in the store and this guy came up to me, one of the managers. He said, empty your pockets. What are you stealing? And I said, I'm not stealing anything. I showed him my pockets, said they're empty. Why would you think I'm stealing something? And he was like, oh, he was telling us that he saw us stealing something on the camera, which we weren't stealing anything.
Yeah, he didn't see anything on the camera.
Yeah. So we go outside and he comes out and he's like, oh, it was nothing personal against you. I just wanted to make sure nothing was being stolen. How interesting it is that he would think that just because I'm going in there to buy something, that I'm gonna steal something just because of the way I looked.
Your skin color, your
Yeah.
hair. Jordan, what happened to you?
I went with my friend Levi, and he's African American, and we were the 2 only non-white kids in the entire group that we were in. And then at the end of the camp, like, we were talking about how the first impressions were, and then they were saying that they were scared of us.
I mean, you're friends with these kids by now, right?
Yeah. He said, we first saw you, we were scared of you. It's just kind of weird because it's just uneducated.
It was like in a different state, and they thought that because they were from Florida and then they were a different skin color that they were gonna do something. Which some stuff you could do is like get to know someone. Like don't judge them off of first sight.
That kid that said he was afraid of you,
Really nice kid.
super nice kid, right? I guarantee you that he would never say something mean to a black person. So in his book, he's like, no, I'm not racist at all. But that's the deeper level that I feel like everyone needs to get to, is why are you first seeing a kid like this and being afraid of him? You gotta check yourself and think, why am I afraid of him?
I mean, Jordan's low-key big, but
The biggest,
So are you taking the time to really like love somebody?
and I do think that the biggest mistake that people make is that they feel like they understand everything because they have a black friend or because they've read something. I used to hear people say all the time, sometimes when I'm in the store and I see a black person, when I look at them, they look mean at me. And I'll be like, well, what were you doing? Were you staring at them? How long did you look at them?
Right?
And they're like,
You're staring at them all the time. They're
I
like,
was
dude,
staring
what's
at
up?
them.
What are you doing?
And they'll say something like, yeah, I was staring at them, but it was just because like I had never seen a black person around there before, or I had never seen somebody with that kind of hair, or I had never whatever. And I'm like, well, what would you do if you walked into a store and somebody was just staring at you the whole time? You'd probably look back and have a mean face.
We went to 2 different Walmarts near this house that we lived in. One manager came up to me and they said, just so you know, we watch your family all the time, and like we all talk about your family. They were watching us. Like, why were they watching us so much? They just had their eyes on us. But then I went to another Walmart and they told me the same thing. Weird, right? They're like, we watch you guys all the time. They told me after the fact because they realized how sweet and obedient and kind you are. And they're like, wow, they're just so obedient. But the fact that they're like watching us extra when we first come in, what is their first impression? And I've taught all these kids, you are different. You're homeschooled, that's different. Your religion stands out at times. And your skin color. Some of you may agree or disagree with the pressure that I put on them to say you might be the only person, biracial or black person that they meet, right? But to me, that's not pressure. To me, that's education. And we choose to educate people. And hopefully they have a good experience so that they will look at others and not be afraid of them when they first meet them. So hopefully this kid, now when he meets another black kid or biracial kid, will not be afraid as his first impression. That's a lot of pressure.
And we're hoping that with all the things that have happened, that every one of you are out there taking personal responsibility
Yes.
for yourself, whether you're white, black,
Yes.
Asian, Latina, no matter what background you have, no matter what color you are,
No matter.
we want you to take personal responsibility for helping to change this systematic issue. Because if people don't take personal responsibility for it, it's not going to happen. And that each one of you that are watching this at this time, that you take the personal responsibility for making sure that we erase racism. We can change the system. Let us lift each other.
And I was speaking to a doctor one-on-one. It was not a patient-doctor situation. And he started complaining about all the black people that took his spot and took other white people's spots at medical school. And I was like, oh, really? That's interesting. So I just kept listening to him and I just let him talk. And then at the end, I was like, did I show you a picture of my husband? And he just looked at me just in shock. He didn't know what else to say.
That very concept or idea itself is a racist idea. The first assumption is that because that person got your spot, that you were smarter. You were smarter than them.
Exactly. He assumed that. He didn't know what the black people's scores were. He assumed that.
Exactly. The fact that you just assumed right off the bat that this person's getting a handout.
One thing that I like that one of these prestigious universities is doing is that they've changed their way of admitting people into the school. It used to be you had to have the highest grade, the highest ACT score, the highest SAT score, and then you're automatically in. Because you have the highest, you go in. Now they've changed it. Some people with even these high scores, high grades, aren't making it in. And at first it irritated a lot of us because we were like, wait a minute, I fulfilled this, this, and this to get in, I should be automatically in. But this particular school is taking a broader approach and seeing the entirety of the situation, the entirety of the education, and they look at the person and they read these essays and they say, where did this person come from? What are they doing with what they've been given? What can they provide to the school? What attributes do they have that are going to go out and represent the school well when they go out to the world? I think that's a very interesting perspective. And it's more of like how we should be as a whole, as a world, is we set up these rankings, right, that not everyone has the same access to. There's some inner city schools, rural schools, they don't provide the same. So they're now looking at the overall. Somebody who's been given everything from the very beginning, they've been offered every opportunity, they're raised in a home where they have private tutors, they're like, sure, they're intelligent and that's wonderful and we're grateful for your intelligence and we're grateful for what you'll bring to the world. But are we valuing the person that came from living in a house where you're the only one there all day and you're like struggling through to get your education and you're fighting through every step of life to even get food? So as we look at a whole of people, can we love people as a whole, or are we just ranking them? Reach out and love people and get to know people and the entirety of the person, then it becomes a richer society.
One of the things that I've found to be really touching about all that's been going on is that a lot of my friends have been reaching out and just saying, hey, I just want you to know that I love you, I appreciate the struggles that you've gone through and what's going on right now. I just want you to know that if there's anything that I can do, please let me know. I've had other people reach out and say, hey, I want to talk with you. I want to find out how I can help to stop the way that things are, to change the system.
I just like to see everyone just come together and accept people for their personality and who they are truly, and at heart, get to know people better, like care about others. Well, some people just don't really think when they say things sometimes, so lots of people will ask me questions like, are you Mexican?
Why do you care so much to know his ethnicity, or if he's Mexican, or if he's, which there's nothing wrong with being Mexican at all, by any means. We love our Mexican friends. Why is that your first question?
People go there because they're lazy. They don't want to recognize the differences between the cultures in the Latino culture, so they rather just call everyone who's of Latin descent, they want to call
everyone is Mexican,
right?
yeah.
It's lazy, it's inappropriate, it's insensitive.
But that same person would never say they were racist. Oh, there's no racism. Racism doesn't exist. But when you're constantly bombarded with what's your ethnicity, that's like them constantly wanting to know, why are you not like me? Where you come from is very important, and where your ancestors are from. But I have never in my life had anyone come up to me and ask me where my ancestors are from. One time I was holding Mariah as a baby and they're like, oh my gosh, where did you get her? I'm at the store. They're just all of a sudden touching her. I'm
Don't
like,
touch my baby,
first of all,
bro,
you're touching my
before you get
baby.
Oh my
Second
gosh,
of all,
where's she from?
and then they looked at my other kids and they're like, oh, your husband's just dark. She turned around and walked away. Did not ask another question, did not care about me as a human, did not care about my baby as a human, just wanted to know, just wanted to be nosy. So you guys, Eddie and them have been sitting off to the side here. We wanted them to be a part of the conversation. I remember whenever I was in high school and they were talking about racism. And everybody in the class was like, oh, I'm not racist. Racism is bad. We should love all black people. And then literally seconds later, I heard some of the kids in the class start talking about the Mexicans that they hated in the town. And I was like, what the heck? Are they not hearing themselves that they just said they're not racist and now they're talking about Mexicans as if they're not even human? And these truly were like from Mexico who they're talking about. And I raised my hand confidently and boldly and let them know that that too was racism and that they don't know this person, they don't know who they stand for and who they are. And because somebody doesn't speak your language, do you have to treat them like they're ignorant? My friend who's from, her mom is from China, she said all the time that people treated her mom and talked down to her like she was stupid because her English wasn't as clear and fast. She spoke English, but it wasn't as clear and fast, so they spoke to her like she was an idiot. Who took the time to just love her and be like, oh my gosh, who are you as a human?
This is a general concept that goes all over all racial boundaries. And we learn how to erase, years and years of injustice, inequality in any situation, with any background of people. So it's important that we learn this as a country. We will never be able to figure out how to live together like this unless we can figure out the black and white problem in this country. And that's basically where we're at right now.
One time we were at this football game and we had to go to the bathroom, so my mom took Jaden and Juliana and also me to the bathroom, and Jaden went to the bathroom and then he went and washed his hands and he sat outside of the bathroom waiting for us to be done. And then when we got out there was this guy out there and he was angry at us. And Jaden was only 4 at the time.
He got mad and he was like, this little kid's trying to spy on some little girls that are going into the bathroom, and all Jaden was doing was sitting there. And he was automatically assuming that because he was black.
Because he said, I know how these little boys around here are. I got an argument with this man because I said, this is my son. He's allowed to go with me. He's little. And he questioned the fact that he was my son. He was quite angry and told me that I should have sent him into the men's bathroom with the stranger. And I was like, no, that's quite dangerous. Just make an assumption that he's a little kid that wants to spy on little girls.
One of the things that we try to do with our channel is to say just spread sunshine. That goes a far way if you actually take it into your life and know what it means and actually do it. Spreading sunshine is spreading good energy, good vibes, kindness, and doing things to uplift others, and that's just what you gotta do.
Not set boundaries between people and just accept everyone, and don't be afraid to talk to somebody or to be friends with somebody just because of the way they look, the way they dress. Just be nice to everybody and love everybody.
My boys face a lot more struggle than my girls do. Humanity is more doubting of the men who are not white. Just the way it is, that's what I see. They've had way more experiences than Mariah and Juliana. Mariah's like, I don't think anybody's been mean to me. Everyone just loves me.
I used to get stopped every day when I was just 9 years old on the way home.
Yeah, every day. The police called me and they're like, are these kids doing what they're supposed to do?
Love each other and love who you are.
We moved to some part of Florida, it was country, and there would be kids outside all the time, and when they see me, they ran away. They didn't like me. And there was one time where there was this guy and he was with this kid and I was trying to play with them. He didn't let me. And one night he came walking to our house and he was drunk and he was cursing me at my mom for no reason, saying they get a green card, all this stuff. And I am so proud of my mom. She handled it the right way. She didn't say anything wrong. She just looked at him and told him to get off her property. It hurts for them to say that. We shouldn't be allowed in this country, even though, I'm Puerto Rican, so he just sounded dumb at the end of the day.
When people are making stupid comments, they usually just sound
Yeah.
dumb at the end of the day.
You should always give someone a chance.
I love your mom.
I do too.
That's true though, that happens a lot, right? They just
Yeah.
see you as as
Yeah,
a
different.
Hispanic, as a Latin, instead of, wait, that's a human with a real life, with real dreams.
You know how, like, people are doing, like, bad stuff out there? Jesus, like, made the scriptures because Jesus wanted people to learn. He didn't want them to be, like, doing bad stuff and then ending up they having children and then their children do bad stuff. He wanted them to be good, and then when they get children, they can teach their children about the gospel, and then their children will be good.
Jaden just spoke the most beautiful
Good job.
truth here today.
True
Yes,
that,
sir.
JJ.
We are
Yeah.
brothers and sisters. He created all of us.
I just want everybody to be seen equally. A lot of people think that they're superior to other people just because of where they're born or how they were born. If we all looked at each other equally, I think that there would be not as many problems in the world.
We're not the same, and that's okay. But to recognize the value that we are bringing. Don't let skin color determine whether someone is intelligent, what they can bring to the table.
We may not all be the same, but we all have value. All that means is that we're different. It doesn't mean that the value is different. You still have a high value in society.
Totally.
And you are important.
Don't mess with my people, okay?
Do not miss this opportunity to look inside yourself to see what is it that I can do to help change the way that things are going down right now in society. What can I do? And if you don't know, reach out to somebody that you know and ask them what you can do.
Take a deeper look inside.
If I'm taking a deeper look, then you probably should be taking a deeper look. All leaders need to be proactive, recognizing the systematic issues that we have. We need to take this opportunity as individuals to change ourselves.
How does the issue of slavery affect Jaden today?
There are clearly still people who believe that black people do not have the same value as white people.
Why do you continue to assume that you don't belong in certain places, right? You see yourself belonging on a football field, you see yourself belonging in a basketball court. Why do you not see yourself running a company? Whether it's in their homes or just the education or the way that people see them, like so many of these kids don't know that they belong. How do you change that to say, no, you too belong there? I remember whenever Jaden was a baby and somebody asked me, yeah, is it yours or store-bought? And I was like, I don't know what you're referring to. I said, but these children are all mine. And if you're referring to adoption, don't you ever, ever refer to adoption like that as well, because he is every bit as much as mine as any other of my biological children. You can refer to him as heaven sent. You can refer to him as a miracle, but not store-bought. And the lady said, oh, we just do that because we have a couple nieces that are black, and we always say, you know how there's Toys R Us, you're like babies are us. And I started trembling from head to toe and just shaking and trembling. And I'm telling you, the Holy Spirit was over me. I just looked at her firmly in the eyes. I said, you can never, ever, ever refer to a human, to a child as that. You can never. You have got to stop that immediately. Right? It has to be taught in the home that we are human. We are capable of big and great and beautiful things. He's not a thing. Are you kidding me? He's a miracle. He's a human with dreams and potential. There are no limits to what you can do in your life. As long as these ideas continue to be put and fed into their minds, people are afraid of you. That's the negativity that's being fed from society. So what can you do that's different? Stop feeding this negativity into their heads. Start at home, start as a teacher, start with your kids' friends. Let them know their potential is limitless.
We don't want this video to be a negative thing. We want
It's
to
totally
be able to
positive.
share. We want to share with you some of our experiences that we consider negative because we want to make sure you understand that it actually happens. But we are hopeful people. We are looking to the future because we believe in humanity. We believe that because of things that are happening now, that people will get better. And we just want to make sure that you are looking at it saying, what can I do better? And we hope that you will take that in the spirit that it's given and to always remember to do things that will lift up other people. When we say spread sunshine, we might as well be saying light the darkness, because that's really what we're talking about.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of lights to light up the darkness that's in this world. And so we hope that you'll take this opportunity to light up the darkness wherever you live, wherever you stand. And so we can spread light all across the world.
Yeah.
Spread sunshine!